that point in time, people leveraged that advantage of cost, and many companies grew in sizes. If you see the trend, people were giving reports of I had quarterly these many numbers, and they were like picking. Last 8 10 years, if you have seen the kind of a reports or the trend which is going on, nobody is talking about how many engineers I have added. Slowly it is coming down.
They kind of trained you for that. They kind of made you tech savvy, and all the people that are there today, and India becoming this global hub was
Yes.
possible only because of the services companies. But I think nowadays services companies are not a big preference for any graduating graduates, not for any aspiring professionals.
But somehow in the process, the timeliness, or basically the delivery timeliness, used to be pushed. That was their priority number one.
Mm.
But again, if we end up or any company ends up compromising on quality, this turns into a vicious cycle. It comes back again,
Yeah.
and it goes back to clients again. So it's a complete never ending loop that we get into.
At undergrad level, we are foundation first,
Yeah.
right? And foundation is strong, foundation is deep, foundation is broad as well. Now, how the student want to build on that, that is up to her to decide. Somebody may go only in delivery, somebody may want to do an MBA, somebody may want to do an even more technical, like Nirmal, I was just speaking to him. So he did an MTech after his at IIT Bombay, right? So that means he has gone even more into the engineering side of it.
Uh, it depends on how people you have. It doesn't
Let's
depend
assume
on.
let's assume all the other variables to be equal,
Okay.
and then
I think then if all other variables are equal, the company with the smaller budgets will innovate, because it's a life and death situation for them. If they do it, their company will go bust. So
Dark Knight Rises kind of. So in its current state, the services companies are not able to innovate because of multiple constraints. So the services companies have to reinvent themselves, or probably you know pivot or do something different for them to be able to innovate, or else they will just do the execution and to be the Madhuris.
Yeah, yeah.
That's precisely right, Shrupon.
No,
So
no,
is it
no. So
possible?
probably you got me wrong. Where I was coming in from, not having a workhorse and a racehorse mindset inculcated. It's
Okay.
about in institutionalizing. When I said institutionalizing the mindset of you know um, quality as well as timeliness.
Okay.
As so as Kapilish rightly mentioned, there are definitely early signs. So once we also look for I mean, for young freshers, we also look for those early disruptive signs in employees.
Those parameters are shifting if you're not conscious as an organization, as a leaders, you're not conscious about, okay, this job done, but ultimately there is no value in it, right? Value in terms of in the long term, the innovation, that how it was done. Yes, definitely it has to done, but mentor is the key. Mentoring, the right mentoring is the key thing to inculcate that culture.
whatever I have learned in specifically in masters, now I am able to use that in the engineering field. So I think that's what people's complaint is: whatever you do in your schools, you do not use that in your work. So I think at least I am happy to correlate the two things between work and study.
You
No,
that
no.
part.
When I was in HOD, also, I honestly focused on curiosity. I was very clear. Education is to make you curious.
Yes,
That's the
Exactly.
goal of
that's good.
education.
Correct.
Education is not just to make a robo out of the whole system.
Yes.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Titans Talk. Today, we are continuing with our talks about GCC, and very important topic that we wanted to touch upon is that India has been long into delivering services, so there is a delivery mindset. With the influx of GCCs, we have something called an engineering mindset, which is about delivering value in the shortest time possible, whereas the delivery mindset is about ensuring that there is a long lasting relationship and the relationship continues. So we wanted to have a flavor of guest today, kind of talking about various different things. So that's where we kind of invited guests from IT services, from GCCs and people who have transitioned from services into product companies. So we wanted to have all of it. Welcome all of you. So I would love to hear from you. So we'll start with Kapilesh. Kapilesh, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is so myself, Kapilesh. I worked in about 25 years in IT industry. Currently working as a delivery manager for Zorient Corporation. And in the Zorient, basically, I was part of a startup, Maple Labs, which was acquired recently by Zorient last year, and now we are part of the larger Zorient as a company. So yeah, that's pretty much my role. As you, the topic of today's is about GCC versus the services. So I definitely would like to share my thoughts. Extensively, I worked in the services segment, and then I also moved to a kind of a small product company, and again back to a services. So I should be able to, give some thoughts, and it will be exciting. Thanks for inviting, and looking forward for this discussion.
Definitely. So Nirmal, a few words about you.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I am Nirmal. Currently, I'm working in a company called Sci-Fi. So, I have been in semiconductor industry since the last decade or so. I have worked before Sci-Fi. I also worked in companies like Intel and Qualcomm. That is where I can give my thoughts on from the semiconductor industry. How does it brings value and from engineering perspective. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Shubho.
Great. Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Strobon. So I'm one of the co-founders in a company called Neo Impact. So we cater to the private market investment community with sustainability technology. So for almost 15 years, I have been on the services side. So pretty much aware of the pros and the cons of topic of discussion today. And now that I'm in the product ecosystem, it would be exciting to discuss about how both these mindset can coexist together.
Great.
Huh?
So
Great.
Karthik, a quick word about you.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Karthik. I'm the Central Placement Officer at Vishwakarma Group. We are a engineering group of colleges since 1984, based out of Pune. Just completed around 40 years. I myself am working here since the last 25 years now. Previously, I was head of department of computer engineering for 6 to 7 years. Then moved into dean of examinations and so on. And now, since 7, 8 years, I'm looking after training and placements for about 2,700 students who are graduating each year. And in a couple of years, we will have about 5,000 students graduating each year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks everyone. So Nirmal, I wanted to, kind of start it with you. Okay. So you are in semiconductors, and then, how does an engineering mindset in semiconductor industry work, and what is your thoughts on it?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So, if you look at the engineering mindset, right, I would say there are mainly two types of mindset that are prevalent in the semiconductor industry. Right from Intel created their first transistor. So, first one I would say is something called disruptive innovation, and the second one is incremental innovation. So, in the disruptive innovation, I think what matters is how do you look beyond the current market dynamics, and you look beyond like 5 years 10 years down the line, and how you can make an impact down the line, like after these kind of years, right? While the incremental innovation is something that you are working on right now, and how you are continuously improving it by small amounts. So that is basically incremental mindset, incremental improvement. So I think in the engineering, in the semiconductor specifically, both of these mindset need to thrive in the companies that I worked on, and in general in the industry I've seen the companies that have been working on both disruptive and incremental innovations will be able to thrive going forward. The best example right now is Nvidia. All right, so they had seen the rise of artificial intelligence almost a decade back, and they started working on it from that time, and now they are very much at the top of the AI industry. So that is the kind of example of disruptive innovation that the companies need to do. Yeah, I think incremental improvements, I think all majority of the companies are doing, but I think what sets apart between different companies is the disruptive innovations. That is the kind of mindset that companies, leaders, employees, everybody has to build in. Yeah. Thanks.
Got it, Nirmal. So Kapilesh, kind of flipping it back to you, right? So when he says engineering mindset, he says there is a disruptive innovation and there is an incremental innovation. From a delivery perspective, right? What does a delivery mindset look like, and what kind of innovations happen in delivery?
Yeah. So I will just take a step back for almost a kind of a decade of services industry or the delivery, uh, the way things Indian IT industry or the setup had. So we saw a transition of when the IT industry in India started off, it was more of a cost arbitrage. That was the delivery model. Like the people out there are having a problem and they want people to as their workforce. They added it at a lower cost, and we were just delivering. There was a talent pool. Institutes like many institutes came forward with a lot of good talent coming out. They are just programming. It is about the delivery mindset was is about delivering the given tasks in time and the given constraints, right? That point in time, people leveraged that advantage of cost, and many companies grew in sizes. If you see the trend, people were giving reports of I had quarterly these many numbers, and they were like picking. Last 8 10 years, if you have seen the kind of a reports or the trend which is going on, nobody is talking about how many engineers I have added. Slowly, it is coming down. It is the one of the aspect of this is the mindset is yes, we have to deliver it, but at the same time, somewhere the industry is also looking for the actual value additions or the solutions, right? And that's where the actual you can say the elements of innovation, innovation did happen in delivery in terms of delivery models. We optimized our processes. In the initial days, if you see, I'm a CMMI certified company. People used to give that flagship as in their advertisement. We are certified CMM5 levels, level 6, and all that. All those things came in their delivery models. People optimized it. Then came agile. Then it's safe agile. A lot of frameworks came in terms of how do I deliver it the given task in the given time, right? So that's where the shift happened. But in the recent years, the focus is back onto the what is the ultimate value you are adding on. We just don't want uh, the uh, uh, the task to be completed or the solution to be given, but ultimately, what is the solution value add you are going to give? That means that's where the engineering mindset comes into picture. Where is the solution giving me a value for the longer run? Are you giving the right solution? And that's where the shift is happening in the this world. So if you saw the both are existing, the has to coexist for sure, as I agree with Nirmal here. But the delivery and both were important, but delivery mindset were mainly of constrained in terms of giving the task, complete the given thing within the time. um, but we have to have the right balance. That's where that I see a future it is shifting. We need to even adapt to the solution. How innovatively not just deliver within the time, but the solution has to have that strength. It's not about just completion you are of the task, but you have to provide the right solution to sustain your business itself. Otherwise, you will be easily replaced by the recent technologies. Advent of Gen AIs and AI technologies are coming in. I will talk maybe further, but uh, some of these things are trends are making delivery models or delivery mindset to adapt to merge into the engineering mindset and having the balance. So that's what I would see. But in the past, it was morely focused on completing the tasks, completing the given thing, and take the buck out of that. So that was the win. But it is tremendously shifting in a fast pace now with the advent of a lot of technologies, and especially the Gen AI.
Okay. So I have a question. Obviously, if you look at India as a whole, right? These services companies are the companies that enabled us to be what we are today. They kind of trained you for that. They kind of, made you tech savvy, and all the people, that are there today, and India becoming this global hub
Yeah.
was possible only because of the services companies. But I think, nowadays services companies are not a big preference for any graduating graduates, not for any aspiring professionals. And given that services companies models have been always around incentivized around how long or how much can you build a client for, how do you think that juxtaposes with your engineering or innovation delivery?
Yeah, yeah, good question. And this is the you know current challenge for most of the services companies, with the coming in of the influx of GCCs. I think in my previous what I told, the shift was, as I said, within the part of that trend which shifted from cost arbitrage. The major factor was GCC started coming in. I mean, you can say the product companies started setting up their centers in India, like Bangalore and many other cities. That created a pull. Of course, they needed, of course, that, and it was trained, available, experienced engineers, which they were just available for them. However, there is a pitfall which I have seen. There are both sides of it. As you rightly said, that there is a motivation and inclination of going towards the product companies from the services. In my experience, being there, I have seen even people coming out of the product companies again back to the services, where where because in the product companies there is once you get in there, and if the company is a larger companies, I'm not talking about the innovative startups which they work, and there, if you see the life cycle of product companies also now, in maybe 50 years back it was about 60 years is what somewhere one report I read, where they said that the life of a company was about 60 years on an average, which has shrunken into 18 years. So companies which are there may not be there after 18 years. Like even today, like what you mentioned about the Nvidia was not at all, it was there in nascent, but now it has grown, and few other companies have really gone in the telecom, in the mobile. We saw Motorola's and all that. So these, it's a very fast paced game, and not necessarily the engineer will get that long term variety of products which services industry provides. So this is one thing. Of course, you get a more money in the product companies, and in India it works at any point in time or anywhere it works. So that is the most driving factor. But even again, with the today's trend, when I see, I talk to some of the college grads, they are really keen on what kind of work. It doesn't matter now whether you are from services or this is a services company, or it is a GCC company. Yes, of course there is a preference to the GCC, but there is a pitfall of getting stuck into the same thing for a longer year, but you are getting money. uh, so it is actually an individual choice, and I have a very good team of with me which is working for multiple years. The only factor is that they like the variety of the work. They like different problems to solve, which typically a services setup provides. We have different kind of problems. It's again varies from companies to companies, but very right question. There is an inclination towards the GCCs, but that doesn't mean that services cannot uh, thrive. They still have provide the value, and that's where the our jobs are, like to ensure that when we talk to those candidates, to make sure that there is an opportunity here for you. And I want to add that Karthik will agree, like these people are very, the new people are more educated than in those olden days. They just wanted a job, but now the people on what kind of work, what kind of a problem you want to solve. So that interest really makes it, as long as you are a company is providing that answer, that this is the work, this is the problem statements which we will be working on, and these are my areas. I think uh, there are people who can want to join in services as well, um, and than the GCCs. It's more of their interest and motivation. It is more towards what kind of a problems and excites them to to their aspirations, which to in order to learn or particular technology about a particular technology. So that's what my view is.
Got it. So now, kind of, flipping back to you, Shravan, you've been on both sides of the equation. So, have you, given your, delivery experience and right now with the engineering company that you have, so have you ever had to compromise on product deliverables because of the delivery timelines? How does it work, Shravan?
So, compromising on product, or I would probably perceive it compromising the quality over the timeliness, because being on the services side, we were always aligned with very stringent SLAs, and SLAs were not only on the delivery side,
Mhm.
but it was on the quality as well. So in my experience, it has always tried to coexist, but definitely there were pressure coming in from the other side on the from the client. Essentially, although they have signed in black and white about both these parameters, but somehow in the process the timeliness, or the basically the delivery timeliness, used to be pushed. That was their priority number one. But again, if we end up or any company ends up compromising on quality, this turns into a vicious cycle. It comes back again,
Yeah.
and it goes back to clients again. So it's a complete never ending loop that we get into. So we've never compromised on quality. Why? Because we've always tried to set the expectation straight from day one. Although there were ups and downs in the process of delivery, but setting the expectation is extremely crucial to ensure that these things coexist for a successful project completion or delivery. So yeah, we've that's pretty much the experience that we've had
So, as
so far.
in, now help me understand. So, you were in a services company. What prompted you to start a company that is into engineering and into product? What was the prompt?
um, Definitely one primary aspect was the need of the technology, or the need of the solution that we offer at this point of time. But again, taking cues from both Nirmal and Kapilesh here, uh, one of the major prompts was getting into that disruptive technology. We understood that um, there was definitely, like, the services model will not be extremely sustainable over the long run. So disruption, technology, embracing innovation is definitely the key to survive in the market in the long run. So that was again one of the major decision or major factors that pushed me to get into a product company, or build along with my co-founders, where we can actually build something disruptive, innovative technology which will thrive. So yeah.
Got. So, Karthik, asking you a follow up on that, right? How are institutions preparing students today? Is it mostly towards, let's say, delivery mindset, or more into the engineering mindset? How are you guys preparing your students?
So fundamentally, all engineering colleges, their focus is the engineering mindset. As a curriculum, that's what we deliver. But then the reality is that because the services or delivery that still to a great extent offers a lot of employment opportunities, so then we ensure that those needs are met. I mean, just to give an example, so I'm from computer science background. I have been head of department of computer science. So we teach so many courses like microprocessors. We teach grammar. That's called theory of computation, right?
Mm.
For students to understand the grammar behind programming
Yeah.
languages, principles of programming languages, why there is an object oriented, a procedural, a logical, functional programming paradigm, compilers. We teach so many of these courses which perhaps most of the delivery service oriented companies, they may not even look at it, or even when they come to quiz our students during interview, they don't ask any questions on any of these. Most of them would just want to see if they are good with logic, reasoning, aptitude, English, verbal communication, and if they have a good hang on Java and they can solve some problems and maybe some databases, SQL, front end, back end stuff, then they will hire the student. But colleges cannot say that that's all we will train a student. We are giving a BTech degree.
Mm.
So ultimately, that degree also has a sense as in, okay, you're a BTech computer science or a BTech electronics and telecommunications, then you need to know.
Mm.
From electron telecommunications, you need to know digital signal processing, embedded systems, VLSI. You need to go through that grind, right? So, because at undergrad level, we are foundation first,
Yeah.
right? And foundation is strong, foundation is deep, foundation is broad as well. Now, how the student want to build on that, that is up to her to decide. Somebody may go only in delivery, somebody may want to do an MBA, somebody may want to do an even more technical, like Nirmal, I was just speaking to him. So he did an MTech after his at IIT Bombay. Right, so that means he has gone even more into the engineering side of it. So there are many students like
Yeah.
these from colleges. So unless you give that engineering breadth and depth at the foundation, they wouldn't be able to do an MTech later.
Mm.
So that remains our focus, which I think we would never compromise on.
So, and do you see a changing preference in the students' choices of companies, and what is very prominent, and why is that happening? Karth?
Okay, so students, I mean, from the placements perspective, when they come to a placement office, they will look at the salary. That is at the end of the day, that's the first thing that they look at. So I mean, I've had very good, for example, startups giving good quality work also, but they will not take it because the mindset
Mm.
is you're offering 4 lakhs.
Mm.
But a startup says, hey, that's my budget. I can offer only 3.5, 4 lakhs, but my work is very good. And sometimes we may even have a company, some banking company, they may be offering 15 lakhs, but maybe the work is actually very simple. I've had students who have
True.
that experience.
True.
They worked in a very big bank. I'm
Yeah.
not naming anyone,
Yeah.
but I asked them, what did you do? They said, we hardly used any of the engineering skills that
True.
we learned. It was a very
Correct.
simple job. They were
Correct.
just paying us 15
Yeah.
lakhs or whatever,
Yeah.
but the job wasn't that techie, or it wasn't really bringing out our engineering skills, etc. So so sometimes this is about brand, right? So there are certain brands that pay more, some less, etc. But still, India, the way it is, the salary is obviously the number one criteria for students, and the second is what is the role. By and large, this is how students see. Very few students are there who are very clear they want to do a research, they want to do an MTech, MS.
Mhm.
They say that, hey, look, we want to know what is the work that we have. And
Correct.
very few are like that. I would say that is around 20%.
Right.
I believe that these 20%, they will go in long term, they will go ahead in life
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have that clarity of thought
Right.
that they want good work to do.
Right.
Even if they're offered right now 30,000 a month, they don't mind that because they're
Right.
getting that valuable experience.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
Got it, Karthik. So that's a trick that product companies mostly use. So give you a very high salary that becomes your exit barrier for the next 2 3 years. You will not get any job at that salary outside.
Yeah.
So then you stop looking out
Yeah.
and you do the grind. But after 3 years, you realize that you've just
Yeah.
been a frog inside a well, and then you don't know anything outside. But that's a con. But then it pays them well as long as they are able to go to pubs and party and all of that. They don't mind being a frog in the well, is what I understand.
Correct.
So Nirmal, I wanted to understand, let's say, for example, do you think engineering mindset can thrive in a delivery heavy organization?
Okay. Uh, I want to answer this in from um, two different company perspectives. One is for how the startup companies will look at it, and how the bigger product companies will look at it. Right? Startup, like, since I worked in both of them, so I kind of understand how these things work. So startup companies are very constrained on time and resources, specifically human resources, the financial resources, right? So uh, And since they want to build their startup from scratch, they don't have an option to shy away from the engineering excellence. They have to build some products which are excellent, which are best in class in their own domain. So they have to build that. Um, so they need to since it's a very small team, usually they have to do grinds in both the locations where they have to build the engineering products which are best in class, and they have to sell it, like they have to sell it to the customers, right? So they don't have an option. So that is what usually the startups looks like. While if you look at the bigger companies, the MNCs, which have good human resources, they have a lot of money in their pockets. um, they also do it. It's a bit easier for them because they can allocate resources to both the engineering innovations, as well as they can keep selling the products very fast. um, so I would say that it has to thrive. Like there is no option that we can separate these two out. It's Otherwise the companies will not survive for long if they just focus on one thing or the other. I've seen many companies which have very good products, but um, they were kind of not able to sell them because the timelines were the product market fit was not right. um, yeah, I would say there is no option to separate out these two. Every company has to do it to reach their full potential.
Children, help me understand this. A company on a shoestring budget
Mhm.
usually innovates better, or a company with a large, deep pocket innovates better, especially when it comes to engineering? What do you think works best?
Uh, it depends on how people you have. It doesn't
Let's
depend
assume,
on.
let's assume all the other variables to be equal,
Okay,
and then,
I think then if all other variables are equal, the company with the smaller budgets will innovate because it's a life and death situation for them. If they do it, their company will go bust. So
Dark Knight Rises kind of. Okay,
yeah.
got it, got it. Kind of, switching back. I like, dragging Kapilesh in once in a while. So, because, today Kapilesh comes from a very traditional industry, and so we can, kind of ask him this. So, like, say, Kapilesh, every time, what happens in a delivery organization, because I've sold delivery, analytics in data science, right? What happens is the client gives us, like, say, 6 months to deliver. Then what you do, your delivery team, you'll be like, 4 months mein kar lo. Then what happens is, then you get it to the man delivery head. You're like, okay, do it in 2.5 months. And then so you're like, okay, if I finish the project faster, it's more effective, and all of that. And then you give 2.5 months with and then the team is on day one onwards, it's running. And in these kind of stringent timelines, uh, is there a possibility of innovation, creativity? Given delivery model is always structured around
Yeah.
this, is there a way that delivery companies can innovate?
Yeah, I think very good question, or good challenge, which I would call it as it's even not a dilemma or a choice which delivery managers or delivery organizations have, or how to again address this issue. Um, there is, uh, especially in the services, what happens is there is a cutout timelines, and that has to be given because it will have an implication on your further business from that particular customer. And customer who is paying you off expects no matter what you give it, right? um, it coming to in this particular thing, there is a, now if I say I want to be creative and I want to be innovative, it will come with again a price and a cost, in a way that I need the right mindset people to do. Not necessarily in your given team you'll have likes of those talent pool who will have that kind of a spark to really innovate. And it's a process. I'm sure maybe Nirmal and would Soban, who come from those background. Innovation is not something you can force within a given time, right? It's a human mind, uh, which is what goes behind, and there is a certain kind of processes to be followed to. Sometimes in technology business, especially in software, you cannot just refer something and implement something, right? You need to really understand the context. Is it its usefulness, its longevity? Is it the right solution? There is a lot of, and that's where the time goes to evaluate whether this innovative idea or this creative idea is going to be the idea. Most of the time, the challenge here is, should I make this choice now and ask my customer to wait for more time, or just leave this and deliver with a choice which generally I'm able to deliver it. Now, in my experience, I cannot reveal all the details though, but it exactly happened, exactly the same situation we were in. The customer wanted a re-architecture of a particular solution, and of course, the timelines were given, requirements were also given, and our engineering mindset, we were creative people, we were having that particular hold of the product. We said, this is not going to be, I mean, if you want to deliver within this particular time, we have this option to be done in a rightful way, engineering mindset, right? We will give the right solution to you, but however, we cannot do it in the timelines which is expected. Give us this time and we will be able to deliver. It will be the much better solution from an engineering standpoint. My Our team gave that particular option. However, the choice from the customer at that point in time is no. I Somehow their priorities, you and someone was mentioning, right? There are priorities. They need to hit the market, or do the announcement that okay, something is available. That pushed back our approach of the actual engineering mindset, and we went back into the, just you can say, the delivery mindset to deliver within the time with the solution which we knew is not the right one.
Mm.
We ended up delivering it. The I mean, the check marks was ticked by the product management. However, the same customer or same product, we knew it's not going to work. Of course, it's a big company or big customer. They can afford what he was mentioning, the affordability part of it, right? They
Mhm.
couldn't afford. After 1.5 years back, they're coming back to us. Can you re-innovate? I mean, the solution which you suggested
Mm.
1.5 years back, and we were in all our team was, we were telling exactly the same 1 year, 1.5 years back. By this time, the solution could have been out, stable, and you would have earned a lot of, better prospects for that particular product. But people do make choices based upon their own priorities, and then of course there is a cost to it. Some people will be able to afford the cost. If they are able to afford the cost and sustain that, they will go. But so I have seen this both worlds. You cannot the short answer to this is, innovations, yes, you there it's there is, it can improve, give you the right solution. The mindset is required, but again, it's a choice and the balance where somebody wants to go. Can you wait, or can you sustain for that wait? But in general, any innovation requires some time and some investment to go in. A very thoughtful approach, without which it will not happen. You cannot be forced, especially in the industry, in technology business. It cannot be forced that okay, create, do offsite, come with some ideas. Ideas can come, but not necessarily it could be a one which will lead you to the very disruptive things. It requires very careful planning and research, and that requires time.
So, following up on that, so when you said this, what I understand is that as services company, what our clients expect from us is to give what they ask, not innovate. Innovation is their job. They will tell you when to innovate, and if that innovation is required, they'll come to you. So is this one of the reasons why, given the large workforce and so many years of services companies being in existence, you can just count with your fingers on how many products have come out of
Absolutely,
these companies. And rather,
absolutely,
it's mostly just a grind.
absolutely. I think can't agree more, Gautam. This is the primarily you can say Indian industries, IT industries problem. Even today, I think there was an article the other day which came like with all the things going on in the world, we as India, as a software engineer, software industry, don't have a brand, world class brand,
Mm.
right? There were successful few brands like an Indian company, but not many, very handful of them, and the number of engineers is like countless. And that's the kind of you can say we are in this world today. I think yes, so much so focus has been made. I think we have as India as a country, of course, we have a brand something like ISRO. They have done a long history of research and which has turned into a giant brand in the space technologies, and it has also thrived a new industry coming up. That's an example. But IT industry went behind, and so what is the history is that's what I was talking about in my first preface, where we really took the advantage of cost arbitrage. We grew the business multi-billion dollars, billion dollars, but it is just the services. We are not sustaining ourselves.
Yeah.
That industry is not sustainable. And you can see today's news that offer letters are being extended, joinings has been extended, cancelled for by big companies, right? And that's more or less is a problem, and we should actually now again the shift is there. What kind of a solution value add? We are again going back to our roots to how I can create a value and good brands. But it's can't agree more now with you, Gautam, is that yeah, this is where Indian IT industry or the services businesses stands today, and especially the GCCs coming in. That's what is happening because entire research is being now transferred to them, and so the what services, what is the value of services industry?
Today
That's
it is
next
staff
question.
augmentation.
Yeah, the staff augmentation is not going to be there now. I mean, it you cannot have only staff augmentation as your your model because it is GCC will say that I already have developed a model for that, getting the talent from the colleges, and I can train them. They will be with me. Uh, what the services needs to offer. So that's what industries are looking at. That what kind of a solution, and we at Zorient actually have a very much focus on the productizing a service as such and a solutions. So it's solutioning is something is is our prime focus now, and that's what we are trying to do. So I think most of the companies are shifting towards this approach, in my opinion.
Got it. Shravan, I wanted to flip it back to you. You've been there, done that. So, do clients reward innovation, or do clients just look for timely delivery when you were in the services industry?
Uh, Again, as Kapilesh was also mentioned, the priority for them, I would say, was always the timely delivery. Um, Innovation, as you mentioned a while back, clients always end up or used to end up feeling that innovation is our job,
True.
delivery is your job. So we are giving you deliverable, like we are um, defining the deliverables. That's more than enough. We have the scope of work drafted. We've made you understand the delivery. Now you just deliver it on time.
Yeah.
So
Now
we
that
are
has always been the mindset.
Yeah.
So a transition from that mindset is extremely critical to bring in that innovation flavor, because a lot of times where it did not play well, in my experience, what I've seen is, although the clients never asked for that innovation flavor from the
Mm,
delivery
mm,
centers,
mm.
the defined structure that they had shared demanded innovation.
Yeah.
And just because there was a significant gap in adding on to that innovation flavor, or the services business could not add that innovation flavor, it was a total failure. And it happens. It probably nothing less 60 to 65% of the time, this is what happens. It just fails after delivery.
Yeah.
So that innovation, like incorporating or infusing innovation in services or delivery, is extremely critical for, again, a successful.
Today you have a product
Yeah.
company. So do you work with services companies or do you do it
Uh,
all in house?
no, we've recently we've just started a work with a services company. Yes, we
So
have.
now, how do you innovate? So do you let them do the innovation, or you're like, boss, I will do the innovation, please? I look at you more like an extended arm. I'm the brain. I'll think you do that. Because you probably have a feeling that you understand your business better, and you know what works, what doesn't work, and all of those things. So do you, rely on them for innovation, or do you rely on them for execution?
Again, this is a contrarian perspective I'll
Yes.
bring in. Fair question. So for me, I require innovation from the other party,
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah.
But the challenge that I face, people on the other side have not been probably in an environment or an ecosystem where they were ever, motivated to think beyond
Think
the
better.
box, outside the box. Now that is the challenge that I'm facing. Although I require them to innovate, I don't get that reciprocation from the other side. Yeah, this is one of a challenge that I'm facing at this point of time. But if I get a team or an extended arm which focuses or which probably brings in innovation in spite of me having a deadline of, as Kapilesh was saying, signing off a product, launching a new version. Uh, that is, again, for me, there are um, milestone that we have to achieve as a company, as we are a startup. That's also a deterrent to innovation at times. So it's happening from both the side, from us as well as from the vendor side.
So, in its current state, the services companies are not able to innovate because of multiple constraints. So the services companies have to reinvent themselves, or probably you know pivot or do something different for them to be able to innovate, or else they will just do the execution and to be the maduris.
Yeah, yeah.
That's precisely right, Shubham.
Yeah, exactly, man. They're just continuing to be that robots in that life cycle. Um, because if you
Yeah.
see, majority of these companies are being run or are being operated by the people who have been in this legacy system. So they are bringing that legacy mindset as well,
Okay.
which is a detriment. Yeah.
Old mindset is what you're being nice in calling it a legacy mindset.
Just being euphemistic.
So just to add quickly on what Subhan was mentioning, his side of it. The other side of it is we have worked with the customers who, um, I mean, good that Subhan mentioned his company is looking for innovation from the services, right? And that's a dimension. Uh, Here is I've seen the other side of it, which is we have seen is we want to do, we come up with some certain things or we have certain things, but there is a hesitancy in terms of that some of the customers they don't want to give certain, you can say, secrets uh, to, because of various reasons they don't want to give their real, probably not, I would not call it as IP, but they there is some kind of a resistance to not to share it to the vendors or the services company, and they keep it aside. The example which I gave you about the solution, which 1.5 years or 2 years later they came back to us again asking us, one of the reason was this, that they had, there is a resistance to not to uh, cooperate with, how come vendors can give this solution and all that. There is some kind of a tussle which goes on. Not okay, this is one side of a customer, but I have also seen uh, customers which are extremely delighted when we come up with certain solutions, and it has really helped them in a recent cases, which again, the details which I cannot share, but That's what exactly happened. They were having an innovation within them. They are trying to work on a particular problem, uh, and they were not able to get the solution out. They wanted to simulate certain, a kind of a device simulation, and they were trying to invest. They invested their own in arm. They were not able to do about 1 year. They were trying this, their own teams. They because we were talking to them, we said like, give us a chance and will do it. We did that for them, and which he was extremely elaborate. That gave them a real niche in terms of how the things can be tested for a scale 1000 2000 devices within the network and things like that, which changed totally the thing. So it's again the choices which probably the product management does, and also the delivery organization does it. It has to be that mindset has to coexist, and but there has to be some kind of openness. If that freedom is given, even the services industries are able to provide the value, uh, given the freedom, if they can, uh, from the some of the MNCs or the companies which require such services. So yeah.
Got it. So, Karthik, kind of switching back, right? Given placement is a ticking time bomb for all the students. Does colleges, do colleges generally, you know, kind of, suppress innovation and engineering expertise and just like get job done, get a job and get out kind of thing?
No, no, certainly not. Because if we were to do that, we would move away from the fundamental of what we are meant to do, right? Because we are preparing them for a 40-year career ahead of them, right? Students come to us when they're 17, 18. They graduate at 22. They're going to work another 35 years. So we cannot think just of immediate needs of what the industry would need from them. If we were to do that, we would be erring in our duty severely, actually. So colleges certainly do not do that. In fact, at VIT, we have some practices that I wish to share, like in order to increase that innovation. So what we have done is, every course in engineering in a semester has a project. So the student has to. There are four students who come together and they have to build a project. Suppose the operating system. So for many courses, what we did, we even got eminent professors from different places in the world to share various ideas of what projects could be done in that. So I'll just give you one example. For operating systems course, we got a guy, Omkar Sharma. He's a professor in US University. We got him here, and he shared with the faculty mainly about various ideas of projects that students could build, because even the faculty had to be enabled, empowered in that. So that has happened in almost all the courses now in engineering. So there is a lot of focus on that student has to do a project, and at least one paper they publish each year, a research paper, where they go into the engineering principles of what they have done, etc. Because we believe that if we do that, we are preparing them for the long future ahead. Okay, because the job which is there, it sometimes is actually very simple also, but we cannot say that we'll prepare you for that. I'll just give you one example, my own example. I When I graduated in 97 out of engineering, I was in a services delivery this thing company, and my job that time was this Y2K projects. So it was basically, there was thousands of lines of this COBOL
Yeah.
programming legacy code, and right, it
Yeah.
was the YY, it was, so we
Yeah.
had to make it
Yeah.
YYYY.
Yeah.
So that is a change in the date field, and then I had to test it. I'll still remember, in the middle of the night also, if you wake me, you'll remember. 31st December 1999, 1st Jan 2000, 1st Jan 2001. Three test cases. This is what I did for almost a year and a half, and it actually made me feel, all the hard work that I did in 10th standard, 12th standard engineering, burning the midnight oil, and grasping all these hi-fi engineering concepts, has ultimately boiled down. It was giving me money those days, whatever, but it was a very simple job. It needed maybe just fifth standard level of intelligence, I felt at that time. That is one reason it pushed me back into academics. I thought, chalo bhai, I'll go back to college and try to learn something more. I did an MTech. I thought I'll learn something more. So what I'm just giving that as an example, not to belittle that. That was a need of the hour that time. Certainly, there was a lot of money flowing in that. So we respect that particular thing. but then we can't prepare students only for the immediate job,
Mm.
which I'm just giving
Yeah,
my own
you're
example,
right.
as in
You're
that
right.
can be very simple job.
Yeah,
It may not require
yeah,
hardly anything. It may just require one course of your entire 4 year engineering, which is
right,
very, very simple. But I can't prepare you for that. I have to prepare you for the long haul.
right.
So I
That's
think,
correct.
yeah.
Okay. So I want to, kind of understand. So Nirmal, I'll kind of come back. Why do you think there is this split mindset of engineering and delivery in the whole Indian tech space?
Um, I think it probably, so one reason comes to mind is probably a culture issue, the company culture, um, how it wants to prioritize, uh, whether it wants to prioritize one thing or the other thing. So it boils down to that company culture and what the company leaders think about how to take their company forward. Um, and I don't think we like train the employees that are coming to the company how to uh, divide these two things. They, if you see, usually when when an employee comes to the company, they start doing the work. They are assigned work and they start doing the work and they keep doing that work. Um, we probably need to start training them in thinking from two different directions. So I think it's a kind of three prong thing, right? So one is company culture. The leadership needs to adapt to that, and also the employee training needs to be given in that sort of direction. So I think these are the three things I would think of.
So Kapilesh, is it a hiring issue or is it a leadership design flaw that is resulting in this kind of a?
Uh, so again, uh, the split is classic because um, I don't think it is to do with the hiring, but because as Karthik was also mentioning, we look for the fundamentals. Any company would like to see uh, the basic aptitude and ability to do certain work, which is in particular domain. Like some of our priority is like understanding the fundamentals of programming or the engineering or the domain, right? If you come from a networking, we work on a lot of networking products, so you should know. So we based upon our needs, we will look for ability of a candidate. Not necessarily he's an expert in that, but the ability to work in this area for some years at least. So we look for that. Hiring is not an issue. What sometimes goes a little bit off is, and that's where that kind of a training and the developing that culture comes into picture, is the mindset, right mindset of people, right? The mindset and approach. Sometimes in the rigor of the academics, and something which I would like to share here with the all my, let's say, the new engineers or the even academia, that I think with the rigor of exams and the marks, and then the thing, the people are behind uh, in the delivery mindset in the college, basically, right? Because you need to complete, and our somehow our ecosystem doesn't allow it to think anything beyond, because you have assignments, you have so many submissions, you are just behind that completing it. It is classic delivery mindset with the given timelines. So you are oriented only in that, right? So you need to shift him towards by giving certain training and um, getting back onto the that focus on the engineering, right? um, while it has to coexist, the balance that we want to achieve is, even people come and they ask us, uh, I want to do only this, I want to do only that. People are in a fixed mindset. The new talent pool, we want to tell them that don't worry about what is up to there. Try to learn, get the grasp of the things, get the variety of the things, then you decide after 2 years where is your focus area. Don't focus, I want to do only coding, I want to do testing. Things are shifting now because the need of the hour is today. I was talking about the Gen AI and all that, the agentic AI. Some of the coding, you don't have to know a language now. You have agents to develop that. So we struggle to train people to come out of that mindset of I want to do only coding or this is the only good work. No, as long as what Karthik was mentioning is like uh, capability building is where the focus is, and we want to ensure our engineers are capable enough. Doesn't matter, the delivery pressure is something up, it's not the engineers needs to solve. That's something managers needs to guide and balance it. But as long as if you have the right capability, I think you will be able to deliver it within the time and innovatively, actually.
True.
So the focus should be building that capability, and it can only and only happen by investing your time in actual actual core engineering principles and fundamentals, and then you can really do. As long as you understood that, you'll be able to solve the problem.
I think, I mean, sorry to interrupt. He made a very good point. It really made me thinking as a teacher, etc. Our whole education, right from kindergarten, is
Mm.
more a delivery model. I think
Exactly.
that's a very good point he made, because that's what we are all, right? It's all about how do you get those marks? How do you just finish it off? There are many cases where students do very good marks at 10th, 12th, whatever, but they have really not appreciated or understood that physics or
Yeah.
any of that, right? They may have got a lot of marks in
Yes.
it and
Yeah.
cracked an entrance exam and got admission, but they never got into that, right? You never soaked your soul into the
Yeah.
physics or the calculus or whatever you
Yeah.
studied. It was just more a trick of how to solve it quickly, so
Yeah.
that you can get the answer, and so that
Yeah.
you can get an admission somewhere.
Right.
So the whole thing is a delivery model. That's a very, very interesting point he made. I think it's a good
Yeah.
point for colleges and our general Indian education system to
Yeah,
think about.
Yeah.
I think there's
We need to move out of that. Yeah.
the competition is so high that you're not allowed to fail. That's the problem, right? I mean, if you're failing, then probably you'll not get into admission, you'll not get into good colleges. I think probably that is where it is stemming from, that the competition is too high right now.
So,
uh,
but then that, sorry to interrupt, but Nirmal, but that has, right from the school level to the corporate level,
yeah,
we
yeah,
are all struggling at
I
that
agree.
only.
Yeah,
Because of the
yeah.
competition, we are at delivery at every level,
Yeah,
right? So, neither innovating in schools, nor in colleges, nor in corporate, as in, right? Like he was saying earlier, right? We have so many IT companies, but not so many brands as well. We still rely on US or European markets to come with some good kind of brand and, give us something, right?
yeah.
Things are changing.
Things are
So
changing.
now we
Yes.
have a lot of companies that are in India building for the world. Even Odoo founder, he is
Mhm.
not an Indian, he has come and relocated to India. Even
Okay.
Zoom car founder, I met him in Thai long back in 2012-13. That time he was building it in India, he was from LA. So he was building it in India for the Indian markets, and now Indian markets have become big. One important thing about the education is that the kids, before they put in school, their intelligence levels are higher. By the time they come out of school, their intelligence levels all normalize. So basically our education system dumbifies everybody
Mm.
through the
Yeah.
process. So as in, okay, so it's a larger problem. But then, coming to you, right, Shravan? So let's say, how would you inculcate both an engineering mindset and a delivery mindset, and a balance in between, especially for early career kids who are coming into the companies?
Um, I would say the right mentorship, because they are certainly coming in with the right set of capability, knowledge. So the use case is served. So the only thing that is pending is giving them that direction. Uh, because as rightly Kavilesh was saying, the delivery mindset since our school, kindergarten till college, and getting into organization. So that's already institutionalized in their
That's the right
mind,
So
word.
right?
you don't
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah, you don't
anything.
have to do it. But the right direction and mentorship
Yeah.
um, is not, I would say, is lacking in majority of the organization, because everybody is hustling, and especially in a startup mode environment, everybody is hustling all the time. Like, not the managers or the senior leadership has that time always to give that mentorship or show that direction. But if that can be done, that can create a quite robust foundation for these kids to thrive.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So my question now that you're a founder of a company, right? So as a founder of a company, how do you balance this, delivery mindset and engineering mindset, or do you have two co-founders? One guy is like the operational workhorse, and the other guy is the disruptive guy, or you're like, boss, I don't want to handle operations. I'll, pay a premium, give it to some delivery services firm, let them handle it. I'll only focus on this value creation. How would you handle it, Shravan?
Uh, that's a tricky thing actually to handle that aspect. But what I believe is giving that entire ownership to everyone in the company
Mm.
rather than positioning one person to lead one particular aspect and the other party
Yeah.
or other co-founder to lead, or any manager also lead
Right.
the operation or the delivery aspect or the technology aspect. Once what I have seen, once we give that ownership and the accountability over to the hands of every employee, starting from the bottom of the pyramid to top of the pyramid, that creates a quite a different culture.
Yeah.
And that is a culture that generally thrives, at least in my experience I've seen.
Yeah.
Very difficult to institutionalize, but once it is done, it thrives, certainly.
So, Shravan, let me put it. I run Hire Happy, which is a recruitment consulting firm. It's pure, day in day out. It's like run of a mill. Okay, I got so bored. Okay, I cannot do the same thing again and again till I find a process for something to happen. It kind of excites me. The moment I find the process and I know how it works, that's it. I want to hand it over to someone and do it. So I don't want to do that anymore, even if I try 100 new things again. So I've launched a product called chooseyourcollege.com, which is about, we were working with a lot of NARF data with all the colleges that we
Hmm.
were working with. I was like, why can't we use this data for students to better choose colleges? For, like, even it has salary data, so staff can find out which colleges pay more per head, which colleges do more projects, and which colleges do more publications, so I can get into that college so that my career is easier. Right now they're just
Hmm.
going by the word of the mouth. And then for companies to kind of find out, ki, I'm going to pay this salary, for this salary what will be the ideal institution I go, so I get, because every institution has a top 10% talent which is very good.
Yeah.
Instead of you going to an IIT and hiring a chemical engineer for a software engineering job, you can go to a, you know, probably an institution lesser than an IIT and then get a top computer science engineer, do that job. That guy would do it better. So, for me, like, so I ran Hierarchy alone. When I started the product company, I realized I cannot run this run of the mill. So I kind of handed over to my co-founder who to handle all of that, while I was focusing only on sales, client acquisitions, and coming up with different crazy ideas. So for me, even if you make me do that kind of institutionalization for a year also, I would not be able to do it. Do you think this is possible to be institutionalized in young people, or are they coming out a certain way and we have to
Hmm.
find what they
It's
do
it's
better?
it's about it's about institutionalizing or passing on that um, you know I would say direction over to as I mentioned earlier, across the pyramid. So it's not only directly being transitioned to the bottom of the pyramid or the early freshers or early careers employees. So once that is pretty much circulated across other co-founders, managers, the VP levels, across functions as well, like ops, sales, marketing, branding. So once that is done, that circulation is done, it is automatically, or it becomes more organic in nature. Now once the culture is shaped in a way, automatically the freshers or the young grads who are joining in, uh, and they get easily molded by a culture. It's easy to mold them. So once we can spread that direction and spread that environment within an organization, it's easy to. So it's not that one person has to take the ownership of institutionalizing it across every vertical and for every employee. It's just a culture seed which is so, planted at the pretty root of the organization.
Okay. So I somehow, like, no matter where you put me in, I don't know if I will ever acquire that. So I want to ask you, Karthik, do you see these early signs in students when they are in college, that this guy will be more disruptive, this guy will work like a bank job, and then he'll be able to get stuff done? Or is it that people can be groomed over time, or can be made to do both?
There are early signs. It depends on many things. One is about the capacity of the student, and many times it also depends on the background of the student. Background, as in, the family background, the place they come from, their immediate need. So I have seen that there are some students who come from backgrounds where they need immediate job. I mean, there are students who have come to me and said, "Sir, anything will do, but I really need a job. This is the
Mm,
state of my
mm,
home. My parents,
yeah.
some maybe a rural farmer who has taken a loan and sent his son to city to study, etc." So there are students like that also. So they honestly say that, my parents have, they can't support me at all. There are some who come from very privileged background, but even then it's not necessary that they will have that rigor for an engineering
Mm,
mindset to go deep, because you need an aptitude also for it,
yeah.
right? You need that passion inside
Mm,
to, because sometimes so that also may be lacking. So there are early signs when you, because we have seen, we had a situation in a college where we ensured that, every 15 students have one teacher as a mentor,
mm,
or someone to look into their
mm,
lives and kind of guide them
right.
accordingly, career guidance. So when we started doing that, we did notice this, that we would take various forms filled up from students and talk to them one on one, the mentor. Then we would understand, no, every student's need is different,
Yeah.
and background is different,
Right.
capability is different. Then according to that, we would guide them, say that, okay, if you are this, then this is a good path to take.
Yeah.
See, there are 30% students who come, who are very clear they want to do higher studies,
Yeah.
and in that 80% want to do an engineering only, an mtech or an ms, and another 10% want to go into management, mba.
Yeah.
They're very, very clear.
Right.
So they don't even want a job now. So they say also, we want only an internship which will give us a very good experience, because we want to study higher, and this
Mm,
internship should help us in that.
right.
So different students come with that, and there are early signs, certainly.
Okay. So Shravan, do you still believe, particularly questioning in this line, because do you still believe, in an institutionalized culture, you can make the guy deliver, as well as it's like, being a workhorse and a racehorse at the same time.
No,
So
no,
is it
no. So
possible?
probably you got me wrong. Where I was coming in from, not having a workhorse and a racehorse mindset inculcated. It's
Okay.
about in institutionalizing. When I said institutionalizing the mindset of, you know um, quality as well as timeliness.
Okay.
As so, as Kapilish rightly mentioned, there are definitely early signs. So once we also look for, I mean, for young freshers, we also look for those early disruptive signs in employees. So we know that they are going to be the hustlers that we need. So we need hustlers in the organization.
Okay.
Now hustlers can be technology hustlers, hustlers can be delivery hustlers. We just need hustlers
Yes.
who would absolutely fit in the um, ecosystem or the mindset that we run in as an organization. Now it's not that we are sitting there trying to institutionalize all the good aspects into each of them. It's just, what I meant is getting that delivery and engineering mindset planted at from day one. So
Okay.
because we know, as a product organizer, as a startup, it's not easy to um, kind of get to that success level with one mindset.
Yeah.
So for us,
You
uh,
need best of both
absolutely,
worlds.
we need best of both. If we have to compromise on one today to win a slightly bigger pie in the other today, we would do that, right? Any startups would do that. Whereas there's definitely, you would probably comprehend. Uh, there's a survival.
Ah,
thing
there is
also,
this
right?
aaj ka
So
roti ka
Exactly. So we
thing.
have to look into how to get the best of both worlds.
yeah, so just one point I would like to add with Sumon and even what Karthik mentioned. Uh, Another gap which we see, and in my experience I have seen, is what the word he meant talked about mentors, right? In a delivery organization, generally it is a reporting manager. He just talks about what you have done as per your task. It's like again a college academia coming, like I'm giving you, okay, you complete this on time. So those goals, not necessarily a mentor is not a assessor, right? And a mentor is actually looking for what he can do, actually what are his capabilities, right? It's very critical layer of any organization. If you not having the right mentors, this mindset of engineering will broke,
Hmm.
right? Which means like you'll go only focusing at, okay, उसने कर दिया ना बस हो गया, उसका job done, kind of, right? Or give him, he has done it on time delivery, give him an increment, all those things. Those parameters are shifting if you're not conscious as an organization, as a leaders, you're not conscious about, okay, this job done, but ultimately there is no value in it, right? Value in terms of in the long term, the innovation, that how it was done. Yes, definitely it has to done, but mentor is the key. Mentoring, the right mentoring is the key thing to inculcate that culture, and spread that word. Again, the percentage wise, which Karthik was mentioning, it could be a low. Not everybody are even able to think in that directions, right? Few individuals you want to have out of your top, let's say 10, I mean at least 10% of it, right? People are of that ability. Identifying them early in your organization and nurturing their that hunger in the right direction is the mentorship layer which will do. As long as you build that strong mentorship, the innovation mindset and the engineering mindset will thrive. It will help your organization grow and yet deliver. You'll have other army of people who are the, you can say, the taskmaster, delivery masters, they will do it. But this, the organization will survive with respect to a very strong layer of mentorship, identifying them and giving them what is required and guiding them to the right direction.
I'll probably add one layer to it. I completely agree with you, and that is extremely critical at an early stage
Exactly.
employee. And for any early stage employee, if to get the right mentorship, right direction is absolutely critical to the foundation.
Yeah.
What I feel, it is critical throughout your career to get a good boss.
Ah,
But yeah, that kind of that element of director direction is extremely critical.
yeah,
when
true.
when we hire from the market experienced engineers, one of the thing gap which we find, it's they are working on a particular product. They say I have done this, but they don't know the actual, the
Right.
engineering which is going behind, or what is the future of that. We ask them questions, and they don't even know the entirety of the solution, the proper use cases. I'm talking about 3 to 4 years of experience generally, which are, but they don't have even that mindset because they are not being even taught like that. And compared to some of our engineers, when I kind of take back to my, they know everything actually. That's a, because we have built that particular layer and we understand that. So that difference we have seen it, and it's very critical piece. Yeah.
Got it. I would, kind of, totally agree with your point, because initially you will, when you look at an employee, right, when you look at a young graduate who has joined your team, you'd be able to quickly assess whether they would be better in an internal focused role or an
Hmm.
external facing role. And then also you will also know, what flair they come in and what they can do and what they cannot do. It's kind of, you will be able to see early signs if you've, mentored or, found a lot of young talent and groomed them into big leaders, right? So you would kind of be able to do it. So Nirmal, just quickly switching back, you went on to do from BTech to MTech, and then now you're in an engineering role, and you've been in an engineering role, so you not very extroverted as well, but at the same time, you are good at what you do. Were there any critical people whether be it faculty or be it early managers or your parents or somebody who told you that you would excel in this kind of a field and you grow better, or was it a conscious decision that you made?
Uh, well, going into engineering um, was the I think that time engineering had a lot of scopes mainly, so that's why I went to engineering. When I started completing BTech, I had a hunch that I wanted to go into more focused field of microelectronics and semiconductors because those are the subjects that I started liking. I did have a campus placement through the uh, through the
College.
college. I went into a software company, but I resigned within first 6 months because that was not aligning to what I wanted to do in general. Um, so I took a break. I prepared for the gate. I did some preparation for 6 months, and then I got into IT Bombay. So um, moving from like BTech to MTech in a specific was very conscious decision, and I'm very happy that I took that decision at the time. I think I mean my family and parents definitely supported me, but there were a lot of hesitancy from my friends like, why are you doing this? You have so much good job. So that was a very conscious decision, and uh, whatever I learned in specifically in masters, now I'm able to use that in the engineering field. So I think that's what the people's complaint is, whatever you do in your schools, you do not use that in your work. So I think at least I'm happy to correlate the two things between work and study.
That's great, Nirmal. So, Nirmal, I wanted to understand, was there any specific person who kind of nudged you into that kind of a thing, or was it more conscious, or were there people who influenced this decision? Although, your parents supported it, where, obviously, but did you have any mentors or mentor lookalikes who kind of, helped you in this decision, or was it only your decision?
um, so I did not have any mentor. My parents were government school teachers, so they did not have background of what is happening on this side. It was purely from my own thinking that where I want to go. I specifically did not have any mentors at that time. I had two sisters which were into computer science background, so I knew that computer science is not for me. So they steered me into different directions. So that is why, yeah.
Got it, Nirmal. Either you have a very good mentor or then you have a very clear direction. So I was a data scientist in Music Man. I used to fall asleep in front of my computer, although I did fairly well. But I did not like it. I like talking to people, and I made an internal switch into sales within
Yeah.
like 4 months of being in data science. I was like, boss, this is not for me. I cannot look at computer full day. I moved into sales, and then in sales I was able to do very well. So that is how I look at it. Probably, one is, nobody told me, but my father was against me. He's like, you bloody do what you went there to do. And I was like, no, that's not what I like. I am not enjoying my day. I just moved into sales, and then from there on it was very easy for me because it came naturally to me. Probably, nobody nudged me like, but then for the people that I have groomed in my companies and in the companies that I have worked, it was very conscious, clear decision that, when you look at somebody, whether they're a workhorse or a more extroverted kind of personality, we were able to channelize them. And probably mentors are
Yeah.
important.
So one thing I would like to give credit to the VIT robotics team. VIT robotics team is it I think started few years back when I joined the team. So that kind of gave me some interest in the electronics field specifically. So I was in that team. Yeah.
Oh, great. Great. So I wanted to go into a part called decision dilemmas. Like, we just called it decision dilemma so that we didn't want to call it rapid fire. Okay. So that's why we called it decision dilemma. So it's like two choices. You can pick either one of them. No explanations needed. It's
Okay.
just your prerogative to choose whichever one. I'll start with you, Nirmal. So would you build something from scratch or iterate fast?
I will iterate fast. I'll fail fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you follow a roadmap or pivot based on the developer's insight?
I'll pivot based on the developer insight.
You will hire only 10x engineers, or you will have a hire a balanced team?
Balance team.
Okay. So if you will you invest in scalability early or solve today's problem?
Scalability.
Okay. Code purity or delivery pragmatism?
Uh, Code purity.
Okay. Cool. So Kapilesh,
Okay.
you meet deadlines with tech debt or miss deadline for quality?
Uh, Again, it is a very difficult, but I would go meet the deadlines because delivery is important for services. Yes.
Stick to scope or stretch to delight the client?
Um, I would negotiate with. I would be negotiating with the customer to stretch it with the scope, because it's important to give the right solution.
Okay. So do you have standardized team structures or adapt as per project?
Adapt as per project.
So process adherence or result ownership?
Result ownership.
Escalate delays early or manage it internally till the last mile?
Escalate delays early.
Okay. So Shobhan, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Fundraise for R&D or scale up your delivery? I,
No, that's a tricky question at this
I,
stage for
I,
me.
I wanted to, kind of stir the pot a little. We don't want vanilla podcasts, right?
Scalability.
Okay. So build an engineering culture first or a delivery culture first?
For me, it's both, definitely. But if I have to choose one, engineering,
Okay. Reward innovation or consistent output?
innovation,
Empower engineers or prioritize customer service?
empower engineers,
Okay. Hire passionate coders or disciplined executors?
passionate coders.
Okay. So, I like the way I wanted to,
Yeah,
kind
this is
of
good.
spray it around a little. And Karthik, so should academia focus on curiosity or compliance?
Curiosity.
When you were an HOD, I want to ask you
No,
that
no.
part.
When I was in HOD, also, I honestly focused on curiosity. I was very clear. Education is to make you curious.
Yes,
That's the
Exactly.
goal of
that's good.
education.
Correct.
Education is not just to make a robot out of the whole system.
Yes,
How you were
correct.
as a HOD, Karthik? I'm curious. You were a strict taskmaster, or
That we had to be, but strictness aside, this thing curiosity. So
curiosity?
stick to it.
Okay. Gate results or hackathon victories?
Hackathon victories.
Research paper or product launches?
Product launches, because if you want, I'll just tell you, because somehow in our Indian culture the research again has become like a delivery thing, just do
Mm,
something. At least in product you get into some practice.
Mm,
That's what I felt.
yeah.
I mean,
Industry
unless you are at some masters or PhD where the research actually is making sense. Otherwise an undergrad, yeah.
industry lectures or internal assessments?
Industry lectures.
Student clubs or curriculum excellence?
Oh, very very difficult this one to choose, because I wanted both, but if you still ask me only one, then curriculum excellence.
Okay. So because you're from the placement, you're sticking. Say, okay. So as in great. We've had a fantastic conversation. So what I wanted to understand. So is like as from the academia community, we would like to extend our best students to the industry for you guys to be able to absorb them as interns or employees. At the same time, take your wisdom and your perspective and probably mentor a few students or give some insightful lectures and all of that. So in terms of that, not a monetary contribution, but in terms of that contribution, I wanted a small contribution from each of you towards this. So I'll start with you, Shobhan. So what would be a good contribution from your side that you can do towards this initiative of bringing industry and academia together?
Um, I would say mentorship, in-person mentorship of for
Got it.
students.
Got it. Nirmal?
uh, so I think the field of VLSI. I'm sorry, I don't know how the curriculum has evolved right now, but when I was there, I did not know what physical design is, where I'm the the expert. Um, so that is where probably I would like to give more insights on the actual VLSI, how deep it is, how different parts of the fields there are. So I would like to probably mentor students, guide them, that these are the different options that you have in the VLSI field. These are the job opportunities you have in the VLSI field. So probably I want to clarify from that perspective, whoever wants to go into the VLSI field, so that I can probably do.
That is one part. The second part is probably you can be in board of studies or something, and
Yeah,
then contribute towards the curriculum development and
yeah,
all of that.
sure, yes.
Sure. uh, Kapilesh.
Yeah, so I think for me again the same thing. I agree in the same with the new, basically, from academic, bridging the gap of what the organizations of today's need, and how they know everything from the academic point of view, but they don't know the practical part of it, right? So this is a continuous process and things are evolving. When we graduated and when we went industry, we had our struggles. Same thing is continuing batches after batches, and because the world is also changing, so we need to always have that industry and academia interactions, and those are the one contribution definitely we are open for, and partnership for a very focused research, or certain problem statements, getting the students early. If I can come with some of the programs in, because with Gen AI coming in, there are so many things. Creativity can now is up to hand, because you don't need to have an ability to, because somebody will do it for you. The knowledge is out there. Only thing is how to utilize it, and give the nudging to the students to imagine, and and kind of a have a kind of a focused innovation labs, uh, partnered with the academia early. I think that is something which I would like to take back to our institutions. Um, Again, there should be some work done and understanding between the two things, but yeah, that those are the areas which I would like to
Larger
contribute.
center of excellence in some problem
Yes,
statements.
exactly.
Got it. Got it. Thank you very much, all of you. It was a wonderful discussion. Hope we stirred some pot, offended a few people. So, as always, thank you very much. So, thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful discussion, and we'll catch up for another episode of Titan Talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.